with Final Score.
Welcome to Final Score, a slimline Premier League programme this afternoon with just 4 3 o'clock kickoffs, but it's also the FA Cup first round proper, and keeping us entertained as ever with their insight and wisdom are Steve Claridge, Garth, Crooks and Mark Bright. We're going to head around the matches in a moment, but there's goal news for you straight away at White Hart Lane. Roger Johnson.
It's Tottenham 2, Sunderland 0. The second goal for Tottenham moments ago from Tom Huddleston, set up by Jermaine Defoe, and he drove it unerringly from 25 yards past stand-in Sunderland goalkeeper Martin Fulop in off the underside of the crossbar. Tottenham had been ahead early through Robbie Keane. He pounced to turn in Crouch's goal-bound header, but Sunderland have been the better side for large parts of this game. And Andy Reid hit the post early, midway through the first half, and then just after the restart, Darren Bent went down in the penalty area. Controversially, a penalty was given. It was a minimal contact with Aurelio Gomez. Perhaps justice was done when the Tottenham goalkeeper saved the spot kick from Darren Bent from 12 yards. Tottenham now with their tails up and leading by 2-0.
Well, Roger was talking then. A goal went in at Villa Park. Ivan Gaskell will tell us all about it.
Yes, a bizarre goal really. A push on Carew gave Milner his chance from the penalty spot for Villa. It was saved. Sidwell hit the post from the rebound. It came back to Milner, who finished off at the third attempt. 3-1 and then 4-1 to Villa. They're in control. It's the third consecutive time they've beaten Bolton by at least 4. They haven't finished yet.
And it's the second penalty they've missed this week, but a goal has gone in at Ewood Park. Andrew James.
Complete turnaround here, Gabby. It's Blackburn Rovers 2, Portsmouth 1. Portsmouth led inside quarter of an hour. Jamie O'Hara on loan from Spurs, scoring from 35 yards out against Paul Robinson. And then after the break, changes at half-time. Jason Roberts and Benny McCarthy sent on by Blackburn. Roberts got the equalising goal, responding quickest in a goalmouth melee. And then just a few seconds ago, Ryan Nelson heading in from a corner to give Blackburn the lead. At wetandfreezingcold.com at Ewood Park, it's Blackburn 2, Portsmouth 1.
Tevez just had a chance, but he didn't convert it, David Garrido. Well, that would have been 4 from 4. Give us the lowdown of what's happening there, though.
Well, it's Manchester City 3, Burnley 2. One thing's for sure, life is never dull at Eastlands, is it? The difference in budgets is huge, but it was the comparative paupers who shot the home crowd into silence in the first half. A debatable penalty for handball on Jolyon Lescott put away by Graham Alexander. Have another look on Match of the Day tonight. And then woeful defending from City as Chris Eagles centred for Stephen Fletcher to tap in. That was 2-0 Burnley. Lucky for the hosts that they halved the deficit before the breakthrough. Sean Wright-Phillips deflected shot. Mark Hughes' half-time team talk must have done the trick, though. Kolo Toure turning in a Lescott cross from Gareth Barry's free kick, and then Craig Bellamy sweeping home as Stephen Ireland and Wright-Phillips combined to cap a memorable comeback. But can they hold out? There could be more here. Man City 3, Burnley 2.
Just to mention that Blackpool goal there, Blackpool 3, Scunthorpe 1, looking for their 6th successive home win at Bloomfield Road, Blackpool, and going well at the moment. Mark Bright, can I come to you first on that last match we're talking about there? They were down, Manchester City, and you were all shaking your heads at the prospect of them losing out to Burnley. Oh. They've come back well, a performance that's going to perhaps mislead on the scoreline later on when you look back at the overall
Burnley
90
were
minutes.
Fantastic, played some good football, went 2 goals up. We couldn't believe it. We're saying, look at the difference in the price of each team. They come out after half-time. I think down the right-hand side's been key. Zabaleta and Sean Wright-Phillips, they've just opened up the Burnley defence, and and then it's been free scoring, and they're back in it now, and they just look at a totally different team. And Steve was saying a little bit earlier, this is their season. High, low, no consistency. To get in that top 4, they need more consistency. But in the end, Gab, it's all about 3 points.
Well, that win would take them, or if they win today, that would take them into the top 4. But of course, we haven't seen Liverpool play. They perhaps haven't capitalised on Liverpool's poor run of late, have they?
No, absolutely. And there's one or two other sides around. You look at your Tottenhams, you look at your Villas. They probably would have thought they haven't won enough games as well. But I think this game has encapsulated everything that's good about Man City and everything that's bad. And I think the goal they scored just before half-time really was the catalyst to turn this game on its head, and that's exactly the way it's been.
What about Blackburn Rovers? Portsmouth took the lead, and you were crying out for Sam Allardyce to make some changes. He did, and then 2 goals come.
Allardyce decides to play one up front, De Santos, and they get no joy whatsoever. I'm surprised
after 20 minutes, he doesn't change it. He waits till half-time.
For goal, Villa.
Between times, Chimponder should have got sent off, so they've been very, very lucky, Blackburn.
OK, more goals to tell you about. First of all, let's go to Villa Park. Ivan Gaskell.
Villa are rampant here. Villa 5, Bolton Wanderers 1, and we're only half an hour with still got fully 15 minutes left in this second half. This time it was Milner again involved deeply from the left-hand side, teasing and twisting. He got a cross in. It went off the head of Quayler, who didn't know an awful lot about it, but neither did Jääskeläinen. It went in the corner. It's 5-1 here.
Well, that's going to be some comeback after that defeat to West Ham in midweek. They've scored 4 the last 2 seasons and now 5 in this 3rd season against Bolton.
Milner's the difference.
Yeah.
Milner's the difference, without any doubt, because Cruz getting service, he gets goals, and also Nigel Reo-Coker is captain.
I was just going to say,
very important. He's come in, he's given them steel. They've kissed and made up, and it's a good job they have.
Milner is imperative to the way they play. Gives them the balance and the shape with Young one side and Milner. And Quayler came back in after his suspension, so 2 players there who had a massive impact.
Totally different attitude to what we were in midweek against West Ham. I think we all saw the game.
More belief, Mark, isn't
Yes, more about them, you know, firm of, you know, chasing, carrying.
Balance,
Yes,
what about Nigel Reo-Coker being reinstated as captain today? Is that,
well.
you know, is that instrumental for you?
I just think that's Martin. Full marks to Martin O'Neill, because he obviously told him to go home. You're not in the training ground. I thought that was the end. Brought him back in. He's not stupid. He's learnt a lot off Brian Clough. He wouldn't cut his nose off to spite his face, to the benefit of the team. Taught him a lesson.
Reo-Coker has obviously had to show some good spirit.
Some contrition.
To been brought back in.
Of course.
And contrition, of course.
OK, they're friends, obviously. Let's go to Ibrox. Ian Turner's watching a Rangers team who know that a win takes them to 2nd in the table tonight.
That's right, Gabby. 15 minutes to go. Rangers 2, St Mirren 0. And it's going to be 10 games undefeated in the SPL for Rangers, thanks to Chris Boyd's 2 goals. The first came after just 18 seconds, the second before the hour mark. Both close-range efforts. St Mirren have actually played very well, but finishing hasn't been their strong point today, and it now looks as if it may be a hat-trick for Chris Boyd rather than a consolation for St Mirren. Rangers 2 up.
Let's stay in the SPL because we've got goal news for you from New Douglas Park. Brian McLaughlin.
It's an equaliser for Motherwell. Substitute Jamie Murphy, 25 yards out, right foot, crashed the ball into the top corner of the net. Hamilton, they took the lead with Simon Mensing with a header after 60 minutes. They're down to 10 men, though. Guillaume Bouzlan sent off in the first half. They've even lost their kitman, who's been sent to the stand. We've played 76 minutes here at New Douglas Park. It's Hamilton 1, Motherwell 1.
Let's go to the Championship now. There was an early kick-off. It was the South Wales derby and Swansea got the better of Cardiff. 3-2 it finished there. Cardiff were 2-0 down, so plenty to talk about that match later on tonight with Manish. And now let's go to the Walker Stadium. Andy May is watching a Leicester team who have had a really good record at home, but they didn't bank on West Brom today.
No, West Brom are playing really well. They're 2 up after 2 long-range efforts in 3 minutes just before half-time. First up, Graham Dorrans firing in a low free kick, and then Gonzalo Jara hit the target from open play with a great shot. The home side should have a goal, though. Paul Gallagher managed to fire wide from just 2 yards out after Matty Fryatt played a ball across the box. The Foxes have 3 strikers on the pitch. The Baggies are in control, though. Leicester 0, West Brom 2.
That's 2nd and 3rd playing each other to the top of the Championship and to the sportsdirect.com at, and that's the computer sign, St James's Park Stadium. We're going to call it St James's Park from now on. James Mason.
Yeah, catchy name, isn't it? Newcastle 3, Peterborough 0. First half goals from Jonas Gutierrez and Andrew Carroll put Newcastle in complete control before Danny Simpson's second half strikers all but sealed the 3 points. It's been that easy. Peterborough, to their credit, have had 4 good chances in the last 20 minutes, but have been thoroughly outplayed and could be sat at the foot of the Championship table come full time if Ipswich win. It's Newcastle 3, Peterborough 0.
To Selhurst Park now, and Gordon Strachan has taken his Middlesbrough side who have great away form there. Tony Husband, how's it looking?
They're behind at the moment, Gabby. Darren Ambrose with his 10th goal of the season, set up by a Neil Dan's header from a Palace breakaway after they'd actually been defending a corner at the other end. That's the goal that separates the 2 sides, but Borough could have scored themselves. Leroy Lita was selfish. When having a 4-on-1, he chose to go it alone and shot wide, and Julian Speroni's save from Gary O'Neill, who was also clean through. Palace 1, Middlesbrough 0.
OK, let's go to the City Ground. Jackie Oatley, you promised us goals there. It hasn't happened, has it?
Oh, it shows what I know, doesn't it? It's Forest 0, Bristol City 0. Both sides have been in really good form coming into this game. Forest have been unbeaten in 7, Bristol City unbeaten in 6, but this game's been scrappy, it's been niggly, the passing's been poor. Forest have come closest to scoring. Garner and Majewski had efforts in the first half, and in the second half, Anderson came so close to opening the scoring, but Cole Scouse heroically cleared off the line for Bristol City, who've yet to test the Forest keeper Lee Camp. 0-0.
To Hillsborough now. Alan Biggs is watching Sheffield Wednesday QPR. The away team took the lead. The home side got back into it. Is there going to be a winner here?
There should be. It's 1-1, Gabby. It could quite easily be 3-3 or more in what's been a fine flowing match that still promises more than it's actually delivered. Both goals came early. Smart finishes by Jay Simpson for Rangers and then Jermaine Johnson for Wednesday, who've twice hit the post through Varney and Miller. But Rangers, inspired by Adel Tarabt, have had the better chances. The best of those missed by Routledge and by Watson. It remains Wednesday 1, QPR 1.
Let's take a little break from the Championship and go back up to the SPL and speak to Brian McLaughlin again. A goal to tell us about.
Yeah, what a game we have here, Gabby. It's now Hamilton 2, Motherwell 1. Marco Paichau with a header. The ball down the right-hand side, across deep to the back post. Up let Paichau and headed the ball into the back of the net. 10 minutes left for play in this Lanarkshire derby. It's now Hamilton 2, Motherwell 1.
Back to the Championship and to Bloomfield Road, where Richard Askham has had plenty to talk about this afternoon.
Yes, Gabby, Blackpool 3, Scunthorpe 1. A very poor first half. It's all happened after the break. The key moment was at 1-1 when Scunthorpe keeper Joe Murphy was sent off for handling outside the area. The first thing replacement Sam Slocum had to do was pick the ball out of the net after Charlie Adam smacked in the resulting free kick. Ben Burgess has since added a third. This after Paul Hayes' opener was cancelled out by an Ian Everett header, and it's all Blackpool.
Alan Biggs promised us a winner at Hillsborough. We may just have one.
Yes, this may be it, Garth. Queen's Park Rangers, very good away form this season. They're 2-1 up now, corner on the right. A near-post header by centre-back Kaspers Gorks has given them the lead. This is the third time this week they've actually taken the lead in a match. Remember, early on from Jay Simpson. They've surrendered it twice previously. Can they hang on to this? They're 2-1 up at Hillsborough.
And it would be their fourth away win in 6 matches. Let's go to St James's Park. James Mason is there. Is it an away goal or a home one?
It's an away goal. Newcastle 3, Peterborough 1, so some cheer for the Peterborough fans. Scored by Dean Keats, a left-foot shot at the second attempt. Probably too little too late. Newcastle 3, Peterborough 1.
Keats goals are always poetry, aren't they? Let's go to Andy Barwell at the Madejski Stadium now. Of course, Ipswich got their first win of the season last week. Reading haven't won in front of their home fans this season. At the moment, it's 1-1. Is there going to be a winner here?
Well, it's two teams who have vastly underachieved this season. One apiece, as you mentioned, it was John Stead who got Ipswich off to a flyer. Reading, though, level a couple of minutes into this second half. Keeper Asmir Begovic couldn't deal with it. Simon Church tapped in the equaliser. Church has also just found the crossbar for Reading, who haven't managed a home league win here since January the 27th. It could go either way. It's a real thriller. Reading 1, Ipswich 1.
Thank you very much, Andy. Now to Vicarage Road. Watford were thumped 5-0 last weekend, but it hasn't put them down, has it, Lindsay Hooper?
It hasn't. It looks like the points are safe. Gabby, Watford 2, Preston 0. And although Alan Irvine must have given a good pep talk at half-time, Preston coming out really attacking at every opportunity. The pace has actually just slowed down the last 10 minutes or so. Watford seem happy just passing the ball about, and they had the latest chance. Lee Hodgson's shot was a real fierce one, but it was saved by Lonergan. It's Watford 2, Preston 0.
Let's go to Home Park. Hamish Marshall is down on the south coast. Last weekend, Plymouth went up to Middlesbrough and got a win, and they're ahead at home. On the up they are, aren't they, Hamish?
Yeah, this recent improvement in form does look like to be continuing against 10-man Donny. Rory Fallon has marked his 100th Plymouth appearance with a goal from 10 yards out. Donny are playing the last 40 minutes with 10 men after skipper Martin Woods picked up 2 yellow cards. Earlier, Alan Judge gave Plymouth the lead, but it was cancelled out by Dean Shields 3 minutes later. We've got 7 minutes to go here in torrential rain.
Well, there wasn't much romance in the lunchtime kick-off between Bolton and Norwich. 7-0 Norwich won there. 119 places between those two sides. Let's go to the International Stadium. Steve Sutton is there, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a shock on the cards there either.
No romance, I'm afraid, Gabby. I can do your romance, but it's got nothing to do with the football, I'm afraid. It's Gateshead 1, Brentford 2. Gateshead did take the lead early in the second half, directly from a corner, keeper fumbling it into his own net, but Carl Court equalised, and then not long after that, Kevin O'Connor made it 2-1, and it looks as if it will stay that way. Gateshead 1, Brentford 2.
Plenty of goals at Adams Park this afternoon. It's Wycombe 4, Brighton 4. Glenn Murray with a penalty there. Wycombe had taken the lead at 4-3. There's a few minutes to go, so probably 3 or 4 more goals to come. Let's go to Liberty Way for another FA Cup first round match. It's Nuneaton against Exeter. Mark Bishop, no romance there either.
Absolutely not. Nuneaton Town 0, Exeter City 4. Last time these two sides met in the FA Cup was way back in 1967 in the first round, when Exeter eventually won a second round replay. 42 years on, and again there's not going to be any type of upset. The Zamaretto Premier League side have been torn apart first 45 minutes. Brace from Exeter's captain Matt Taylor, own goal from Gareth Dean, and a long-range effort from Barry Call, all in the first half. Simply not the stuffing out of the Nuneaton side. They've been lucky to concede just 4 goals. It should have been 5 when a terrific effort from Kozic was goal-bound, but somehow Hudland scooped the ball off the line. Nuneaton Town 0, Exeter City 4.
Let's go to Ewood Park. Goal news, Andrew James.
Well, Sam Allardyce will be a happy man, Gabby. He'll say he's been proved right. It's Blackburn 3, Portsmouth 1, and the third goal scored by Jason Roberts, his second since coming on at half-time. And the man that he came on at the interval with, Benny McCarthy, was the man that set it up. A lovely ball played back into the box from the left-hand side, and Roberts with a poacher's finish at the near post. Memo to the Match of the Day editors: look out for Sam Allardyce's celebration. Something of a jig from him. He knows that his side looked down and out at half-time, but they're ahead by 3 goals to 1.
Well, Match of the Day is on a little bit later at 11:05 this evening, but you're going to have so far 17 goals to see there in just 4 matches. We didn't expect this afternoon, did we?
Well, we certainly didn't from Blackburn, that's for sure, but at half-time they had to switch it all round. And...
Sorry, Mark, I've got to interrupt you because there's been another goal. That makes it 18. Let's go to the City of Manchester Stadium. David Garrido.
And Burnley have found an equaliser with time running out here. It's Man City 3, Burnley 3, and it's the sub, Kevin McDonald, with City basically at 6 and 7 to the back. A lovely layoff header from Stephen Fletcher, who scored their second goal, and it was McDonald who tapped in at the far post. City were 2-0 down. They were 3-2 up. It's now 3-3, and we have 3 minutes left to play.
We'll get that reaction in a moment from the guys, but let's go to New Douglas Park. Brian McLaughlin.
I told you it was a cracker here. It's now Hamilton 2, Motherwell 2. Lukas Jutkovic with the scorer of the goal. Crossed the ball in from the right-hand side, eluded everybody, and into the back of the net. Just 3 minutes left for play. Hamilton 2, Motherwell 2.
Now, either side could yet get a winner, but if Burnley take points from this match, it was the first time they've done that all season, and who is it more consequential for, Man City or Burnley?
I think Man City, without doubt.
Well, yeah, the expectation from Manchester City, but what we were saying earlier is Burnley got a great home record. Can they start to pick up points away at some of these grounds, which will keep them in the Premier League? But for us, Manchester City, they're looking to break into the top 4. This is a promoted team here. You've gone 2-0 down, 3-2 up. You must hold out.
Gabby, I cannot believe Man City, when you consider they do it with the big sides, the big players can get up for it. That if you're going to get top 4, you've got to turn the Burnleys over.
It's 5 on the spin draws now. If they draw that one, 2 goals they've given away today have been their own worst enemies.
Let me just quickly get you some Championship news. You're going to like this, Steve. Let's go to the City ground. Jackie Oatley.
And Nottingham Forest have scored 4 minutes from time. A free kick from the right-hand side taken by Chris Cohen. Dele Adebola went up for it, and it fell to centre-half Wes Morgan from 6 yards out to rifle it past the keeper, Dean Gherkin. So it looks as though they're going to make it 8 games unbeaten. Nottingham Forest 1, Bristol City 0.
2 famous FA Cup giant killers, aren't they? Hereford and Sutton. At last, we have some romance down Rowan. Well, Valentine scored.
Yes, that's right. I thought you meant that Sutton may have scored, Gabby, but you're right. Hereford now are 2-0 up. It looks like they're going to go through to the second round. They only have 10 men, of course, after goal scorer Mansay's dismissal. But Jason Goodliff just handled in the box. A penalty was awarded, and the fullback, Ryan Valentine, made no mistake to make it 2-0. And Hereford are going through to the second round, it looks like.
Naz Premji at the new Bucks Head Stadium, where AFC Telford are playing Lincoln City, a team they've disposed of over the years in the FA Cup. Not today, though, Naz.
Not today, Gabby. AFC Telford 1, Lincoln City 3. 2 goals in 10 second half minutes, securing a place in round 2 for Chris Sutton's side here. They're still playing, but it was Aaron Brown and Jamie Clark's goals that have put Telford's bid to bed here. The Blue Square North side, though, have more than held their own. They've hit the bar twice, hit the post twice, and put up a real fight here, but to no avail. It's AFC Telford 1, Lincoln City 3.
Let's go to Ibrox. Goal news. It's not a last-minute fight back, is it, Ian Turner?
It is. It's a last 3-minute fight back. Stephen O'Donnell, the St Mirren substitute, has just pulled it back for St Mirren. It's now Rangers 2, St Mirren 1. It was a ball in from Mehmet. O'Donnell controlled it in his chest. Rangers players appealed. They thought it was handball. Referee was having none of it. O'Donnell finished clinically. It's Rangers 2, and it's going to be a nervous last 2 minutes. St Mirren 1.
Blackburn Rovers 3, Portsmouth 1. A great comeback for them, Andrew James. And the way Sam Allardyce was celebrating that last goal at Ewood Park, you think they've won the FA Cup?
Well, I'd be interested to hear what Sam's got to say afterwards, Gabby, because he'll probably say, well, I deliberately started with 4-5-1, knowing that I could bring my big men on for the second half, because that's exactly what's happened in the 2 goals for Roberts in particular. But Nelson's goal, by the way, was only his second ever goal for Blackburn Rovers, but they've looked so much better. Really was a lesson for all concerned. They've gone 4-3-3, and that will surely send the Blackburn fans happy. But for Pompey, it's back to square one. It's still Blackburn 3, Portsmouth 1.
And it's York 3, Crewe 2. Not many non-league or lower league sides ahead, but York City, who are 7th in the Blue Square Premier, ahead, beating Crewe at the moment by 3-2. And I've got another goal to tell you about by a non-league side in the FA Cup first round. Steve Sutton.
Yes, Gabby, I'm afraid the romance is back on. It's Gateshead 2, Brentford 2, and it's Peter Wynn with the equaliser 2 minutes into 4 of added-on time. It came from a throw-in near the corner flag. Frenchman One, a second-half substitute, nodded on, and Peter Wynn was close in to force the ball over the line. Gateshead 2, Brentford 2.
Ascombe's at Bloomfield Road with more goal news there.
Yes, Gabby, it's definitely all over here. Blackpool 4, Scunthorpe 1. A pile driver from Alex Baptiste just on the edge of the area. Possibly got a slight deflection on its way into the net. It's Blackpool 4, Scunthorpe 1.
Will there be a winner at the City of Manchester Stadium? David Garrido.
Well, if there is, we've got 3.5 minutes of stoppage time to find it. The game's still being played at a frenetic pace, and I think both sides believe they can win this. City perhaps being a little bit more incisive, though, in these final moments. And Mark Hughes urging his side forward, gesticulating madly in his technical area. Bellamy's cross courageously headed away by Caldwell. Ditto Carlisle from Zabaleta. And it is still absolutely chucking it down as well here at Eastlands. But it remains Man City 3, Burnley 3.
Last time out, Bolton lost 4-0 against Chelsea. Today, they're down 5-1 against Aston Villa. Ivan Gaskell is at Villa Park.
Yes, they've conceded 15 goals in 4 games. They have problems. We're playing out time here. Villa completely dominant. They lead 5-1.
Let's get an update from White Hart Lane. Roger Johnson.
We're into the first of 5 minutes of added time here. Still Tottenham leading by 2-0. Still Sunderland trying to find a way back into it as another cross comes in. The danger is away. A downward header by Turner, which Gomez saved smartly a few minutes ago. The closest Sunderland have come to getting back into things since Tom Huddleston gave Tottenham a bit of breathing space with his second goal. Remember, substitute goalkeeper on for Sunderland after Craig Gordon was injured. Fulop's first job picking Huddleston's shot out of the net. Tottenham should be home and dry now. They lead by 2-0.
More goal news and last-minute drama. Jackie Oatley at the City Ground.
It's an equaliser for Bristol City in the 90th minute. A free kick from the right by Paul Hartley. It was knocked down for Danny Haynes to fire home the equaliser from close range. But we have 5 minutes of added time. It's going to be fast and frenetic. It's Nottingham Forest 1, Bristol City 1.
Let's go to Ewood Park. Full-time whistle has blown there. Andrew James.
Yes, Blackburn Rovers winning by 3-1, Gabby. It didn't look that way at half-time after Jamie O'Hara's first goal on loan from Spurs had given Portsmouth a deserved half-time lead, and they perhaps should have Blackburn been down to 10 men had Chimbonda been sent off for aiming a punch by the referee who sent off Sunderland's Kenwyn Jones for much less last week. But Blackburn made half-time changes, sending on Jason Roberts and Benny McCarthy. 2 goals from Jason Roberts and 1 from Ryan Nelson, only his second ever for Blackburn Rovers, completely turned it round after the break. And Blackburn Rovers have now made it 5 straight wins at home. For Portsmouth, they must go back to square one. It's the end of their 3-game unbeaten sequence. Final score at Ewood Park, Blackburn Rovers 3, Portsmouth 1.
Let's go to Villa Park. Full-time whistle there, and Aston Villa were getting into a bit of a drawing habit, weren't they, Ivan Gaskell? They've certainly overturned that today.
Yes, a thoroughly comprehensive, richly deserved Aston Villa win. 2 up through Young and Agbon Lahore, but though Elmander pulled a pre-half-time goal back for Bolton, their leaking defence let a second-half torrent of goals in. Carew, the excellent Milner at the 3rd attempt after his penalty was saved, and Kuwela wrapping it up. Villa's third consecutive win by 4 or more in this fixture alone. Bolton have issues. Villa have a handsome 5-1 win.
Non-league Stevenage have just scored to equalise against Port Vale. But let's go to the Madejski Stadium. Two teams who could desperately have done with a win today. Neither's got them. Andy Barwell.
It's finished one apiece. Reading's long run without a home league win goes on. They scored only their third goal of the season here in 8 matches. Simon Church tapped in to cancel out John Stead's first half goal for Ipswich. Still no home win for Reading, no away win for Ipswich. I suppose it was obvious it would end in a draw. Finished Reading 1, Ipswich Town 1.
And the full-time whistle has also gone at the City of...
Man City 3, Burnley 3. Phew.
Bath City, Kettering and York, all non-league, have caused upsets today in the FA Cup first round. Let's go to Selhurst Park, where I imagine there'll be one upset away manager, Tony Husband.
Quite possible. 2 straight defeats for Gordon Strachan as Borough's descent down the Championship table continues. They were beaten by a Darren Ambrose goal 20 minutes into the second half. That's his 10th of the season. Borough left to rue a host of chances. Marcus Bent and Leroy Lita could have done better with goal-scoring opportunities, while Julian saved well from Gary O'Neill and sub Jonathan Franks. A nervy finale. Palace 1, Middlesbrough 0.
Let's go to St James's Park. James Mason, the full-time whistle has blown and the home side a comprehensive win.
Yep, Newcastle 3, Peterborough 1. An impressive home performance from league leaders Newcastle as they blew lowly Peterborough away with ease. A solo goal from Jonas Gutierrez and a header from Andrew Carroll put the home side 2 up by half-time, and a third by Danny Simpson just after the break sealed the 3 points for Chris Hughton's men. A consolation goal from Dean Keats provided late cheer for the travelling fans, but their side are still yet to win away this season and now bottom of the Championship. Newcastle 3, Peterborough 1.
Well, Newcastle are top, but the teams who are second and third played each other, and there's goal news from the Walker Stadium.
Leicester have pulled one back, Gabby. Burner tucking home a rebound after a free kick from outside the box. We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time. It looks like West Brom will still win this one. They're 2-1 up.
OK, let's go to White Hart Lane. Full-time whistle has Danestown, non-league, have caused another upset. Blue Square South team have beaten Shrewsbury by 1-0. OK, let's go to Ian Turner at Ibrox. Full-time whistle has blown there.
There's not been much joy for Rangers lately on or off the field, but they remain undefeated in the SPL and they move to within a point of leaders Celtic. Although Saints played some nice football, the champions deserved this win, and it came courtesy of another 2 goals from Chris Boyd, the first after just 18 seconds. Substitute Stephen O'Donnell grabbed what proved to be a consolation for Saints with 3 minutes left. It finished Rangers 2, St Mirren 1.
OK, to Jackie Oatley now at the City Ground.
It's finished Nottingham Forest 1, Bristol City 1. All the excitement crammed into the last few minutes of the game. It had been pretty ugly and scrappy before that. Wes Morgan, centre-half, thought he'd won it for Forest when he fired home from close range after Cohen's free kick had dropped to him. But City didn't give up, and Hartley's free kick from the right ended up at the feet of Danny Haynes. He fired past Lee Camp, who barely had a save to make all match, and it means that Forest extend their unbeaten run to 8 games, City to 7. Forest 1, Bristol City 1.
Final whistles blown at Vicarage Road. Lindsay Hooper, how did it go there?
It was Watford 2, Preston 0 in the end, Gabby, and Watford coming back from that 5-0 thumping against West Brom last week, and Malky McKay looked very pleased with himself indeed. Second half quite calm, but really it's got to be said that Heiger Helgeson returning from injury was the difference between these two sides. He really lifted the spirit of Watford. Cleverly got a goal as well. Both the goal scorers were substituted, and towards the end Nathan Ellington looked very hungry too, but Preston couldn't come back. It finished Watford 2, Preston 0.
Well, Leicester didn't have enough time to complete their comeback, did they? Let's go to Andy May at the Walker Stadium.
Yes, Gabby, West Brom 2-1 winners after scoring twice in 3 minutes just before the break. Doran's low, long-range free kick somehow managed to creep in, and then Jara beat Wheel 2 from outside the box with a swerving low effort. Burner scored in stoppage time for Leicester, who, like Aston Villa or Spurs, when they take on one of the big 4 in the Premier League, seem to have been found out. Leicester 0, Leicester 1, West Brom 2.
Don't forget, you can get all the build-up and all the goals as they go in from 2:30 every Premier League Saturday. All you have to do is press the red button. We'd love to have you with us. Time now to get the full classified results with Tim Gudgin.
And as usual, kicking off with the Barclays Premier League. Aston Villa 5, Bolton Wanderers 1. Blackburn Rovers 3, Portsmouth 1. Manchester City 3, Burnley 3. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Sunderland 0. And Wolverhampton Wanderers and Arsenal have an evening kick-off. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Blackpool 4, Scunthorpe United 1. Crystal Palace 1, Middlesbrough 0. Leicester City 1, West Bromwich Albion 2. Newcastle United 3, Peterborough United 1. Nottingham Forest 1, Bristol City 1. Plymouth Argyle 2, Doncaster Rovers 1. Reading 1, Ipswich Town 1. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Swansea City 3, Cardiff City 2. Watford 2, Preston North End 0. And the FA Cup, sponsored by Eon, the first round, Accrington Stanley 2, Salisbury City 1. AFC Telford United 1, Lincoln City 3. Aldershot Town 2, Bury 0. Barnet 3, Darlington 1. Barrow 2, Eastleigh 1. Bromley 0, Colchester United 4. Cambridge United 4, Ilkeston Town 0. Carlisle United 2, Morecambe 2. Chesterfield 1, AFC Bournemouth 3. Forest Green Rovers 1, Mansfield Town 1. Gateshead 2, Brentford 2. Gillingham 3, Southend United 0. And continuing cup results, Grimsby Town 0, Bath 2. Hartlepool United 0, Kettering Town 1. Hereford United 2, Sutton United 0. Luton Town 3, Rochdale 3. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Macclesfield Town 0. Northampton Town 2, Fleetwood Town 1. Nuneaton 0, Exeter City 4. Oldham Athletic and Leeds United have an evening kick-off. Oxford United 1, Yeovil Town 0. Bolton 0, Norwich City 7. Port Vale 1, Stevenage Borough 1. And Rushden and Diamonds 3, Hinckley United 1. And another page of FA Cup results. Shrewsbury Town 0, Staines Town 1. Stockport County 5, Tooting and Mitcham 0. Starbridge 0, Walsall 1. Swindon Town 1, Woking 0. Torquay United 3, Cheltenham Town 1. Tranmere Rovers 1, Leyton Orient 1. Wrexham 1, Lowestoft Town 0. Wycombe Wanderers 4, Brighton and Hove Albion 4. York City 3, Crewe Alexandra 2. In the Blue Square Premier, Grays Athletic 1, Chester City 3. In the Clydesdale Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 2, St Johnstone 1. Hamilton Academical 2, Motherwell 2. Hearts 0, Hibernian 0. Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 2. Rangers 2, St Mirren 1. The Irn-Bru Scottish Division 1, Ayr United 0, Queen of the South 1. And the latest score, Dundee 2, Airdrie United 1. Greenock Morton 0, Partick Thistle 2. Wraith Rovers 1, Dunfermline Athletic 2. And another latest score, Ross County 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. In the Scottish Div 2, Brechin City 0, Arbroath 0. Clyde 0, Cowdenbeath 1. East Fife 1, Peterhead 2. Stenhousemuir 0, Dumbarton 3. Stirling Albion 0, Alloa Athletic 1. And in Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers 0, Montrose 0. Elgin City 1, Livingston 6. Forfar Athletic 2, Annan Athletic 1. Queen's Park 1, East Stirlingshire 0. Stranraer 2, Berwick Rangers 4. In the Welsh Premier, Carsws 1, Fort Talbot Town 2. Carmarthen Town 2, Bangor City 2. Hrill 0, Llanelli 0. And Welshpool Town 2, Portmarnock 0. In the Carling Premiership, Cliftonville's match with Institute was postponed. Dungannon Swifts 1, Crusaders 1. Glenavon 2, Ballymena United 2. Glentoran 0, Coleraine 6. Lisbon Distillery 0, Portadown 3. And Newry City 0, Linfield 6.
Two late kick-offs to tell you about in the Scottish Division 1. Dundee 2, Airdrie United 1, and Ross County 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. They're both results. Let's have a look at the tables then. Chelsea and Manchester United meet at Stamford Bridge tomorrow, of course. Arsenal could be second by then if they beat Wolves. That game kicks off shortly at Molineux. Tottenham move up to fourth after they beat Sunderland, and Manchester City were held by a late Burnley equaliser. Aston Villa also rise above City after thrashing Bolton. Liverpool play Birmingham on Monday. At the bottom, Portsmouth still bottom of the table after Blackburn came from behind to beat them, a result which lifts Rovers out of the relegation zone and right up to 13th. Hull and West Ham both play tomorrow, while Wolves are involved in today's tea-time kick-off, of course, and Bolton slip a place after their thumping at Villa Park. Let's go to the top of the Championship. Newcastle and West Brom have pulled away at the top of the Championship after their wins this afternoon. The Magpies beat Peterborough 3-1 to extend their unbeaten home record. They stay 2 points ahead of West Brom, who won at Leicester. Third place Cardiff lost 3-2 at arch-rivals Swansea, who've now gone 10 games without defeat, and that's moved them up to 9th. And the bottom of the table, defeat on Tyneside means Posh replace Ipswich at the bottom. Roy Keane's side couldn't make it back-to-back wins against Reading with a 1-1 draw, meaning the Royals drop into the relegation zone. Plymouth moved out of the bottom three thanks to Rory Fallon's winner against Doncaster. There were no games in League 1 or 2 today due to the Cup, with just one fixture in the Blue Square Premier. Chester picked up their second away win of the season at Grays, but they remain bottom due to their 25-point penalty. Grays remain in the relegation zone. And there we go, the top of the SPL. Rangers close to within a point of Celtic after beating St Mirren 2-1 at Ibrox. Tony Mowbray's men, of course, visit bottom side Falkirk tomorrow. Hibs dropped to third after their goalless draw against Hearts in the Edinburgh Derby. Dundee United got back to winning ways at Rugby Park. That defeat for Killie keeps them 5 points off the bottom. Goal difference continues to separate the top two, who both won today. Queen of the South beat bottom side Ayr 1-0, while Dundee kept pace, winning 2-1 against Airdrie. Cowdenbeath are the new leaders of the second division after finding a late winner at Clyde. Stirling Albion dropped to second on goal difference after a home defeat to Alloa, while bottom side Arbroath drew at Brecon. And the third division, Livingston remained 2 points clear after thrashing Elgin City 6-1. Second place Berwick won 4-2 at Stranraer, while bottom side Montrose picked up a point at Albion Rovers. Here are today's headlines from the Barclays Premier League. Aston Villa 5, Bolton 1. Villa got back to winning ways thanks to their biggest win of the season, but it means more defensive woes for Bolton, who are yet to keep a clean sheet this season. Blackburn 3, Portsmouth 1. Jason Roberts scores twice and Ryan Nelson also gets on the score sheet as Rovers come from behind to lift themselves out of the relegation zone and heap more misery on Pompey. Match of the day is on at the later time of 11:05 this evening on BBC One. You can see all the goals and incidents with Gary and the two Allens. 18 goals at our last count. Following that, Manish has all the league goals in the Football League show on BBC One at midnight. A big, fat, juicy lineup for the match of the day too tomorrow. Chelsea, Manchester United, the headline act. 10 o'clock, BBC Two. John Motson has been at the City of Manchester Stadium this afternoon. City made a comeback and then it would appear they threw it all away. It's not the kind of scoreline, well, 5 draws in a row certainly isn't the kind of form a team hoping to get into Champions League places needs to have.
That's absolutely true. Can I just start about Burnley, Gabby, because they played a delightful brand of football here today. They led 2-0. We know they're fragile at the back. They conceded 3 goals, but they came back to get their first away point in the top division since 1976. But as you rightly say, the City contingent here will look at this game and think, what are we doing here? You know, they were 2-0 down, defensive errors. One, of course, was a penalty. And then they got back into their stride, and Wright Phillips and other players were beginning to tear Burnley apart, only for City to then give it away. There are going to be some questions asked, you're right.
Their 5th draw, as I say, on the bounce, which isn't the kind of form. You know, if you look at the table now, they're in 6th place. They've thrown away enough points where they could be top 3, couldn't they, realistically, against the kind of teams they've been losing points to.
Well, yes, and of course, with the money they've spent, the expectancy is bound to be very high. In fact, when we hear later from Owen Coyle, the Burnley manager, they were very unhappy with City's 2nd goal. So it wasn't the convincing performance you would expect from Manchester City when, admittedly, Mark Hughes had put a more attacking lineup out there today with Stephen Ireland breaking from midfield. But there are still questions unanswered about City, although you still have to say they haven't played their strongest team.
And you rightly say, Burnley today, all credit to them, their first away point of the season. Their manager, Owen Coyle, is talking to David Garrido.
Owen, well, what a game. 3-3. You were 2-0 up, though, and would you say that was your best chance of getting some away points this season?
Well, there's no doubt when we went in front in the match, and I felt we were worthy of it, then we looked in a very good position. Having said that, I mean, it'll be a great goal from Manchester City's point of view just before half-time, but it's taken a slight deflection off Stephen Jordan. And with the quality Manchester City goal, we know it's going to be difficult from that point on. Having said that, there was a second half, there was a spell that we went behind 3-2, but we showed our character, we showed our resolve, and indeed, I mean, the third goal, it was a goal fit, I think, to win a game, never mind, let alone earn us a point.
What did you make of Manchester City in that first half? I mean, with all that quality that you've alluded to on show, I mean, surely with that attacking lineup that Mark Hughes fielded, you would have expected a bit more from them, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, I think you've been disrespectful to ourselves if you don't think that we defended well, because we did with a nice shape to us. I mean, we've been battered from post to post about our so-called away form. We've always been in every game away from home, albeit we've come out on the wrong side of some results. And today, as much as we conceded 3 goals, I felt some of them avoidable, but we showed our attacking form and the chances that came, some sublime football, and certainly worthy of a point, no doubt about it. But we're in a great position to, I think, to earn all 3.
They are worthy of a point, no doubt about that, from you 3 this afternoon, but it will be the defensive frailties, perhaps, that will be focused on Match of the Day.
Gabby, I've not seen defending like that from top-class defenders in a long time. I can't wait to see what Alan Hansen has to say about this tonight on Match of the Day. You've got Given at the back, top-class goalkeeper. You've got Toure, Lescott, Bridge and Zabaleta. That wasn't a defence, it was a shambles. You've got to watch it.
OK.
They don't defend well as a team, though, Garth, either, do they? When they haven't got the ball, they just aren't difficult enough to break down. It's not just the back 4, it's the midfield 4 as well that don't help.
I would say, with the exception of Mika Richards there, that's his strongest back 4. He's bought all those players. They are the pieces to his jigsaw.
He's answerable, you were saying, basically,
absolutely,
for that defence.
yes.
Yeah, he's not inherited it.
No,
he's cherry-picked it.
Went out and targeted those
and spent
players.
a lot of money and a lot of expectation.
They're not working at it. That's what you do. They're good players, them. Whatever they do between Monday and Friday is showing on that pitch because it ain't good enough.
We were talking about expectation on the shoulders of Harry Redknapp earlier on this afternoon, and this afternoon it's come right for him at White Hart Lane. Jonathan Pearce was there watching a Sunderland side who are having a mini blip of their own at the moment, Jonathan. Steve Bruce hasn't got a brilliant record, has he, in London with the clubs that he's managed, but this was all about Spurs today.
Well, they won 2-0, but it wasn't just about Spurs. It doesn't really tell you the story of the game. They took the lead. Robbie Keane on 12 minutes, pouncing from a crouch head down. Sunderland thought he was offside. I've looked at the replays time and time again. I think he's level with one of the defenders on the far side of the penalty area from him, but it was all Sunderland after then. Andy Reid, who was magnificent throughout the game, hit the post from 30 yards out, and the match really spun on a very controversial penalty incident. Crossed by Fraser Campbell, who shouldn't have been able to get the cross in, but did. Out came Gomez, sprawling at the feet of Darren Bent. Again, I watched this replay 2 or 3 times. First of all, didn't think it was a spot kick. Then I think that Gomez does catch the player on the foot. Should have been a penalty. Gomez would have been the last defender, would have been sent off. Stayed on into the second half, start of the period. Penalty kick for Sunderland. Bent through, Gomez sprawls, up gets Bent to take the spot kick. Gomez saved. Should he have been on the pitch, though? As the game unfolded, Spurs made sure with a thunderbolt of a shot by Tom Hoddleston, a magnificent shot that settled the points for them. Andy Reid was the best player on the pitch by a mile, but the game swung on that penalty incident in the first half, Gabby.
I tell you, Jonathan, there's dissent and disagreement in the studio with your opinion, and we're going to get Garth Crooks' take on that in a moment. But first of all, we're going back to the City of Manchester Stadium because David Garrido's caught up with Mark Hughes.
Incredible game. I'm sure you must have gone through every emotion possible in that game, but would you consider it 2 points dropped rather than 1 gained?
Well, I think given the circumstance of the game, obviously we'd given ourselves a mountain to climb in the first half, obviously going 2 goals down. We got 1 back just before the break, and then obviously at half-time we obviously had to come out and show some quality to get our noses in front. And that, in fairness, that's what we did. I thought we were excellent for long periods in that second half, and obviously got the second, got the third, and in the ascendancy. And then we've, unfortunately, just at the end there, we've switched off and got done with the sucker punch, and they get an equaliser. So that's the disappointment. I mean, we've had 2 home games of late, and we haven't been able to see out winning positions, and that's the disappointment. But credit to the lads in the second half. They put in a big effort to try and get back in front, and that's what they were able to do. But unfortunately, we couldn't see the game out.
Disappointed Mark Hughes, his team finished 3-3 with Burnley at home. I promise you I will come back to you on that penalty. But first of all, Martin O'Neill, who I imagine is a happier manager this evening, is talking to Guy Mowbray.
Well, Martin, there's something about Villa Park that's particularly homely this season.
It's been very pleasing that we've, other than the opening day of the season when we got beaten by Wigan, when we were a bit topsy-turvy, it's great to come here. The crowd are right behind us. And we've started to win here, which is very, very important, and also played very well as well.
Was there some extra red meat in the pre-match meal? Because, my word, you came flying out of the traps.
We come out very, very strongly. I was obviously a bit concerned because we've had a tough run on the road since we last played Chelsea here 3 weeks ago. We've had gone 4 consecutive away games, including one in the Carling Cup. And the last minute, or the 94th minute winner or defeat against West Ham was particularly difficult to take. So we had to really get ourselves together again. But the players were ready. They were ready for the game. And as you say, they come out of the blocks very, very quickly. We got ourselves in front. I thought that we maybe would have 1 or 2 more chances after that. And we got the second goal just before half-time and then gave one away. But really, really pleased with the performance, and I just thought we played excellently.
OK, let's go back then to that Spurs match. They won 2-0, but for JP, it all spun on that penalty decision.
2 pivotal points. I didn't think the penalty on Bent was an actual penalty, and I'll tell you why. I have a problem when the player hits the goalkeeper as opposed to the goalkeeper hitting the player. And in this case, for me, Bent used the goalkeeper to get... And he was going down before he made contact. That's my personal view. There's a second point here with Defoe. Defoe makes contact with Craig Gordon. It's late, and I think when you see the match of the day tonight, I think he's very lucky to stay on the pitch. Gordon goes off as a consequence, but it's controversial.
And disagreement or agree with?
I disagree. I think it's a penalty. I think Gomez comes out at speed, doesn't get the ball. Darren Bent's already on that way. There's a slight touch, but you know what? It was 1-0 at that stage. He needed to score. He didn't.
And Steve, very quickly, does it make that much of a difference to the whole match? Would Spurs have won this one anyway?
No, I'm not sure they would have won this. This was very much a game in the balance at that time. Sunderland were probably having the better of the time, so that would have made a massive impact on it.
Thank you very much, guys. For the moment, that's it from us on BBC One. We've got plenty more reaction to today's results and interviews from those involved on the Red Button and goals in the Championship, including those from the Majeski and the South Wales Derby. If you're staying with us, we'll be on the Red Button in a few seconds' time. Otherwise, have a brilliant weekend. Bye.